just put out the files and stop redacting names that don't need to be redacted. It's just, who are we trying to protect? Are we protecting the survivors, or are we protecting these elite men that need to be put out there?
On December 19th, the U.S. Department of Justice made public over 300,000 pages of documents and records related to its long-running investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, shedding new light on the scope of the case. The release came after intense pressure from lawmakers who had been demanding transparency for months, ultimately forcing the Justice Department to make the massive collection of files available to the public. However, controversy quickly erupted because a significant portion of the released documents had been heavily redacted, leaving many details obscured and sparking public criticism. The moment the Justice Department posted the documents online, traffic to the website surged so dramatically that it experienced technical problems and temporary outages, causing widespread online panic. Visitors to the site were greeted with messages explaining that the system was overloaded, including notices stating, "You are now in line. We are currently experiencing extremely high volumes." The newly released documents include a variety of materials, such as photographs, phone call records, grand jury testimonies, and transcripts from interviews with key witnesses and associates of Epstein. Among the files were previously unseen photographs showing former President Bill Clinton alongside iconic figures like Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, capturing moments that had never been publicly disclosed. The records also revealed images of Epstein in the company of high-profile figures, including Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman of DP World, raising further questions about Epstein's network. In response to the release, Angel Uania, the deputy chief of staff for former President Bill Clinton, issued a public statement seeking to clarify Clinton's involvement and address growing speculation. Uania emphasized that the White House hasn't been hiding these files for months only to dump them late on a Friday to protect Bill Clinton. This is about shielding themselves from what comes next, or from what they'll try and hide forever, so they can release as many grainy 20-plus-year-old photos as they want. But this isn't about Bill Clinton. Never has, never will be. Even Susie Wiles said Donald Trump was wrong about Bill Clinton. There are two types of people here. The first group knew nothing and cut Epstein off before his crimes came to light. The second group continued relationships with him after. We're in the first. No amount of stalling by people in the second group will change that. Everyone, especially MAGA, expects answers, not scapegoats. Marina Lacerda, who has publicly identified herself as a survivor of abuse by Epstein, also issued a statement regarding the release of documents and the ongoing investigation. In her statement, Lacerda criticized the extensive redactions in the files and questioned which individuals the Trump administration might be attempting to shield from scrutiny.
Just put out the files and stop redacting names that don't need to be redacted. It's just, who are we trying to protect? Are we protecting the survivors, or are we protecting these elite men that need to be put out there? And people need to know these are predators that are in the files. They need to be brought to justice so they can stop doing this in the long run. It's for everyone's safety at the end of the day. I haven't gone through all of it, so I don't want to speak, I don't want to say the wrong things, but I do understand that also a lot of important, people have been redacted from it. And the whole process of being transparent was to only redact the survivors and the victims' names. So here we are right where we started with the first files. These names that need to be put out there, people need to know about these people, have been redacted. So it's a little bit confusing. I feel like, again, the DOJ, the justice system, is failing us.
On December 19th, the Department of Justice informed a federal court that it had taken extraordinary precautions in releasing the files, specifically aimed at safeguarding the privacy and safety of the victims involved. As part of these protective measures, officials heavily redacted or completely blacked out the faces of all women depicted in photographs with Epstein, regardless of whether each individual was confirmed as a victim. Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, acknowledged concerns about over-redaction, explaining that the Justice Department chose to err on the side of caution when releasing sensitive visual materials. Victim Privacy Interests counsel in favor of redacting the faces of women in photographs with Epstein even where not all the women are known to be victims because it is not practicable for the department to identify every person in a photo with the information available to the department. This approach to photographs could be viewed by some as an over-redaction, but the department believes it should, in the compressed time frame, err on the side of redacting to protecting victims. Earlier statements from Justice Department officials indicated that the entirety of Epstein's files would likely never be fully released to the public due to privacy, security, and ongoing investigation concerns. Instead, reports suggest that additional portions of the Epstein records will be gradually released in the coming weeks, offering more insight while continuing to protect sensitive information.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.